Row 18, plot 20.
Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. This is a movie review for The Last Voyage of the Demeter. This came out, I think, at the beginning of August 2023. It's 1 hour and 58 minutes. It has already gone on Prime Video, and maybe it's on a few other digital sites. So if you were kind of on the fence about going to the theaters to see this, you can now just stay at home and rent it, which is what I did. It has a 6.3 star rating on IMDb, which is pretty good. This had a $45 million budget, but worldwide, I don't think it's even broke 20 million. What the heck, 20 million yet. So it's not quite even breaking close to even. This is about a chapter out of Bram Stoker's Dracula. For those of you that don't know, this is a chapter in the book called The Captain's Log. And I was interested in this because I'm a big fan of the classic Universal Studios horror, Bela Lugosi Dracula, and I also really liked the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie that came out, it seems like 20 years ago now, or more. And also because this has David Dastmalchian. I always pronounce that name wrong. And he plays Wojciech, and he's a pretty major role in this. And if you're not familiar with David Dastmalchian,
Baba Yaga, the witch. They tell stories to children to frighten them. You know Baba Yaga?
you've seen him in other movies as well, Marvel movies, and just side characters, a lot of comedy roles. The main character is Clemens, played by Corey Hawkins, and the captain is played by Liam Cunningham, and there's a lot of side characters. One of the characters that I wasn't expecting and that I found somewhat annoying was a young boy, and his name was Toby, played by Woody Norman, and I just don't remember that being a part of the novel of Dracula. Although it has been probably 30 or 40 years since I've read that. So maybe there was in the Captain's Log part of that book, that kid. So I don't know, that kind of changed the dynamic for me a little bit. Corey Hawkins is African American, and he's trying to find passage to wherever they're going, England, sorry, from Carpathia to England. And so the ship, the Demeter, is looking for crew hands to help load all the crates. There's, I think, 24 unmarked wooden crates, very mysterious. And he gets overlooked because he's actually a doctor and he went to college for that. And they kind of pass him over. David Dastmalchian's character is kind of recruiting the ship hands, and everybody that's looking for work in that little depressed port is lined up. And he ends up getting to be on the ship. I don't want to spoil too much more. He does end up getting picked after all. Something happens which brings him into the captain's sightline, and there's also the villagers. I don't know if they were gypsies, but they had that kind of look. Villagers that had brought the crates to the ship, giving warnings, and some of the crew hands took that as maybe a curse or whatever. So there was kind of like that little foreshadow. So he does make his way onto the ship, and like for me, I'm kind of like a realist when it comes to movies. I don't care, if characters are black, white, Asian, if they gender swap. I don't care about that kind of stuff. But in the stories, sometimes I do notice it. So having a lead black man in a movie that's a timepiece didn't make sense, but they kind of do acknowledge that in the film, and I thought that was really creative, and very subtle, the way that they kind of acknowledge that it is not necessarily, normal, um, for an African American to be in that position that he was in, and he kind of like hints at the struggles that he has for that. So I thought that was clever, and good, and his acting was good. I would say all of the acting is really well done. It's a very well shot film. It definitely creates uh, the feel for that story, where they are in time and location. Again, for me, just having that little kid kind of changed the impact of the story a little bit. So once the ship gets out to sea, random things start happening, and then they realize that there is something on board the ship killing crewmates and things. And it kind of becomes like a cat and mouse kind of a situation. I kind of thought of the movie Alien, where you have that ship and you have a creature stalking, and you're only getting a few glimpses here and there until the third act, and then you get the final big reveal of the creature and whatnot. And I think it's pretty common, so I don't think that this is a spoiler, but the look of Dracula is more of the Nosferatu look from the original 1922 look, which was fine. It's just I'm just kind of like I like the Bela Lugosi. I like the suave, debonair Dracula, but can turn into the creature. This was creature the whole time, which is fine too. It's a good story. It's a good vampire movie. I think I was too in my head about it being a small snippet of the Bram Stoker's Dracula book and movies. So I'm thinking of it as kind of like a low key prequel, if you will, or it's not even a prequel because it's like I did see one reviewer comment that it was kind of like Rogue One in the Star Wars movie universe, where they took a small little piece of one of the OG movies and then made that into its own movie, and it became like this big adventure. And that's pretty accurate. So I'm stealing that quote from that review that I saw on IMDb. Once the action gets amped up, it's pretty good. Again, you're on a ship, so you're limited with seeing space and things, but I think they do a really good job with all of that. Lighting seemed fine. Sound was really good. That's something that's important for me. There's some gory, bloody sequences, but not too over the top. Not really enough jump scares for me. I would have liked a little bit more. But again, that kid, I just don't remember that being a part of the story. And then, so when we get toward the end, for me, the final showdown with Dracula and, I already forgot his name, Clemens, the main character. It's a little weird because it almost sets it up like there could be a sequel, and it changes the like there's some liberties that were taken to create like this ending where there could be this new adventure. At one point, I thought they were going to change Clemens, and we were going to find out that was Van Helsing all along, which would have been that would have really just blew my mind. But it's not a bad movie. It's on, like I said, it's on digital. Go check out the trailer at least. If you're kind of on the fence about it, like it is good. Like the 6.3 star rating, it's by 11,000 people. So, I mean, I would rate it up there pretty high. Like I said, I think I was too much in my head trying to really fit it into continuity. And normally I don't do that. Normally I do a pretty good job of separating things from adaptations from books to movie, or comic books to movies. I can pretty much separate myself, but for this one, for some reason, I just couldn't do it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've seen The Last Voyage of Demeter and what you thought of it, or If now that it's on digital already, it's still pretty new, will you check it out and leave a comment down below and hit the like button. Yee.